Hey there and welcome. Isn't it wild how a simple story, something you probably heard when you were a kid, can teach a lesson so powerful that it just sticks with you for your entire life? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on these ancient tales and figure out the secret formula that makes them tick. Think about it. Long before anyone sits you down to talk about laws or complex ethics, you hear stories, fables. They're kind of our first look at what's right and what's wrong. They shape how we see the world, using these simple characters and consequences that, even as a kid, you just get. So, how do they do it? How do these simple stories, the ones with talking animals and mischievous kids, manage to teach these huge life lessons so effectively that they get passed down for literally centuries? Well, it's not magic, but it's pretty close. There's this powerful, repeatable blueprint at the heart of every single one of these stories. A kind of structure that makes the lesson impossible to forget. And to crack it, we're going to dive into a classic Telugu tale that I bet a lot of you have heard before. All right, let's get into it. We're going to look at the story of Nana Puli, which you probably know as the boy who cried wolf. This is going to be our case study. So picture this. There's this shepherd boy in a village, and he's got a bit of a reputation. He's known for his Allari Cheshtalu, which basically means he's a little prankster. And one day, he's just so bored watching his flock, he decides he needs to make his own fun. And what could be funnier, right, than tricking the nearby woodcutters? He just imagines them all freaking out, and the idea is just hilarious to him. So he takes a deep breath and just screams, "Nana Puli!" which translates to "Father, a tiger." And just like he planned, the woodcutters drop their tools, they come running, and they find him just laughing his head off. He loves the reaction so much, he does it again. Okay, so this is the turning point. The villagers have been fooled twice. They're not just annoyed, they're angry. The trust is gone, and they all decide, that's it. We're not falling for his tricks again. Ever. And then it happens. A real tiger appears. It slinks out of the woods, its eyes on the flock. And just like that, the boy's little game is over. This isn't fun anymore. This is terrifying, and it's very, very real. He screams for help, for real this time with all his might. The villagers, they hear him, but they just shake their heads. There he goes again. They ignore him, and because nobody believes him, nobody comes. He has to watch as the tiger attacks his flock, and he suffers a real, painful loss. Whew, powerful stuff, right? But a story that effective doesn't just happen by chance. It's built on a really clear, really deliberate structure. So now let's switch gears and break down how it works. It turns out pretty much every great fable follows this simple three-step blueprint. You've got 1, a relatable flaw, 2, a direct consequence, and 3, an unmistakable moral. That's the magic formula. Okay, so first up, the relatable flaw. The reason the story works is because we kind of get the kid, don't we? We've all been bored. We all know what it's like to want a little attention or just to stir the pot. His dishonesty, it comes from a place we can all understand. It's a very human weakness. Then comes the second part, the direct consequence. And this is so important. The bad thing that happens isn't just bad luck. It's a direct result of what he did. There's no gray area here. He lied, so no one believed him, and then he lost his sheep. The connection, the cause and effect is crystal clear. And finally, step 3, the unmistakable moral. The story doesn't make you guess what the point is. It hands it to you on a silver platter. It's this powerful, simple sentence that just drills the lesson home, designed to be something you never forget. If you're known as a liar, no one will believe you, even when you're telling the truth. So you might be thinking, okay, that makes sense for that one story, but is it just for Nana Puli? No way. This exact blueprint, flaw, consequence, moral, it's like a universal code. You find it in fables from every corner of the globe. And check this out. You can map it across so many other classic tales. You've got the donkey whose laziness and deception get him into trouble, teaching you that luck won't always save you. Or the wild dog whose greed leads to sorrow. Or the arrogant ram who learns that, well, fools tend to think pretty highly of themselves. See the pattern? It's the same formula every single time. Flaw, consequence, lesson. So that brings us to the big question, why? Why does this super old formula still work so well today in our crazy, complex world? Well, the answer is all about how our brains are wired. Think of it this way. These stories are practically engineered to be sticky.
The cause and effect is super simple for our brains to lock onto. The characters have flaws that we see in ourselves, which makes them relatable. The consequences hit you right in the feels, and emotions make memories stronger. And the whole package, the story, the moral, is so simple, it's just incredibly easy to remember and, more importantly, to retell.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. In our world today, which is just overflowing with information and noise, what are the simple fables that guide us? What are the modern stories we tell each other to figure out right from wrong? What's the Nana Puli of our time? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining me.